Hey guys, this is Vimal here and welcome back to my channel. So finally I'm back with a brand new budget build guys, and this is going to be quite interesting and also very knowledgeable, so make sure to watch it till the end. The PC that we'll be building is a gaming PC that is around 30 to 32,000 rupees budget guys. See, a lot of you guys only requested me to build gaming PC builds around 30 to 40,000 rupees, and let me tell you, I am actually planning on 2 to 3 different budget PC builds that I'll be posting very soon, starting off with this one today. So the components I'll be using today will be coming there in a moment. Now you might be wondering, why do I have both different category CPUs over here, one from AMD and one from Intel? Thing is, see, AMD has their own fan base and Intel also has their own fan base, so I don't want to disappoint anybody. That's why what I'm planning is I'll be doing different budget builds with different components. I'll be mixing and matching different components from AMD, Intel, with GPU, without GPU, around 30 to 40,000 rupees. So you guys will get a better idea on which configuration you should go for the same price range guys. So it will be very interesting. Stay tuned for these awesome videos guys. Anyways, keeping all of them aside, before I get into the components and tell you about all of that, I want to give a huge shout out to Mech Peripherals and IT Gadgets Online. If you guys don't know, Mech Peripherals is a very popular computer brand and they've been in the Indian market since more than 20 years, and they deal with all the computer related stuff guys. And recently this brand has came up with their own e-commerce online store by the name IT Gadgets Online. And on this store guys, they sell all sorts of computer stuff like computer components, accessories, peripherals and all these related stuff. If you're looking to buy something like this, do check out their website guys. I'll leave links in the description box below. So that is about it. Now coming to the parts, the build that we'll be doing today is AMD version guys. So we'll be coming to the Intel budget build next time. I'll be keeping this aside. Coming to the AMD budget build, this is around 30 to 32,000 rupees, and it's also future proof and is mainly made like an all-rounder PC that can get your office related work covered. You can do your basic Photoshop and also basic video editing stuff, and not only that, you can even do 900p and very good 1080p gaming as well guys. So that is what this build is aimed for. Coming to the components, the CPU that I'll be using is from AMD. This is their Ryzen 5 3400G APU guys. It's a 4-core 8-thread CPU with Radeon Vega 11 built-in graphics. It's a very capable CPU guys, and you can get all your day-to-day tasks done, and it's also great for basic 1080p 60 FPS gaming. We'll be coming to the performance part at a later part in the video. Keeping that aside, the motherboard I'll be using for this build is my trusty old AB350N from Gigabyte. Thing is, I actually planned on using the TUF B450 Plus gaming from Asus, but that motherboard was already occupied in my other budget build which I didn't want it to disturb. That's why I have to go for this. I would actually recommend you to get that only because see, this one costs 6,000 rupees and that one is around 7,500 rupees. For 1,500 extra, you're getting a B450 series and is actually pretty good. So you can get that one. I'll be telling you all the pricing details at a later part in the video, don't worry about that. And the RAM, if you ask about the RAM, I am going with Crucial's Ballistics gaming memory 8x2 16GB kit configuration in a dual channel for this build guys. Costs around 6,000 rupees. I actually made a review on this RAM a couple of days ago. If you haven't watched that, go check it out. Very good RAM for the budget. And what else is left? There is no dedicated air or liquid cooler guys. We are using AMD stock cooler only. And if you talk about the power supply, see, I told you right, this is a future upgradable build. That means right now we are not using any dedicated graphic cards, but in future if you want to add a dedicated graphic card, you can take the graphic performance on this build to next level guys. That is why I am choosing a 550 watt power supply from Corsair. It's a 80 plus bronze certified power supply. But again, if you are tight on a budget and have no plans of future upgrading your PC, then you can actually settle down for a 450 watt power supply also. That will help you cut down the cost and will get your job done. So it completely depends on your choice. I'm leaving that up to you. And also coming to the cabinet, the cabinet is also I'm leaving this to you only guys, because there are plenty of cabinets around 1,500 to 2,000 rupees budget. You can choose anything you want. The one I am using for today is something new from Deepcool. This is the brand new Macube 110 PC case guys, and it's a very beautiful looking case. It's a micro ATX case that looks like a square cube and has a magnetic glass tempered glass panel on the side and looks really beautiful. So that is what I'll be using today. And That is pretty much it, guys. These are the stuff that I'll be using for today's PC build. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get started. Building a budget PC like this is super simple, guys, just like a walk in the park. First thing you'll need to do is install the CPU on the motherboard. B350 Mobo comes with an AM4 socket, so just open up the lever like this, check for the CPU direction, and make sure that the gold triangle on the CPU matches with the engraved triangle on the socket. Once you do that, gently drop the CPU over the socket, just like this. And that's it, guys, we are done with installing our CPU. Next, we need to install the cooler. Since this is a budget category build, we'll be using a stock cooler only, no need of using dedicated air or liquid coolers. So fixing this AMD's cooler is also very easy, just place it over the CPU and align it with the motherboard's mount bracket. Now take a screwdriver and start fixing the screws on all the four corners. Go in a zigzag pattern and make sure to tighten them properly. Also, don't forget to apply some thermal paste on the CPU before doing this. My stock cooler already came with a pre-applied layer of thermal paste, so I didn't have to apply it again. Moving on, let's install the RAM sticks. We're using two 8GB RAM from Crucial. It's a Ballistics gaming memory clocked at 2666 MHz. So a total of 16 gigs of RAM in dual channel configuration. Installing the RAM is also very easy, guys. Just open the RAM slot like this, check for the RAM direction and push it firmly until the lever locks itself. In case if your motherboard has like 4 RAM slots, install them in the primary slots marked with an asterisk. Now time to fix the board in your case. But before that, don't forget to fix the IO shield. It's a simple snap-on like attachment that goes over here. After that, take the motherboard and align it properly such that the holes on the board match with the spacers of the cabinet. The MacCube 110 is a micro ATX case from Deepcool and there's plenty of space on the inside for the components we're using today. Just take some screws that we got with the cabinet and start fixing the motherboard. We're almost coming to an end, guys. So far everything looks pretty simple, right? The only few things left to do are installing the power supply, SSD and connecting all the cables. So here's our 550W power supply from Corsair. It's a 80 plus bronze certified PSU. And this is where you'll need to fix it. Good thing is MacCube 110 has a PSU shroud on it, so it completely hides the power supply and also all the cables to give a neat look to your PC. So once you're done with fixing your power supply in the case, the last thing left to do is connect your storage drives. As mentioned earlier, I'm using only one 240GB SSD for this build. You can add more depending on your requirement. For this, just simply connect the SATA cable from the motherboard and a SATA power cable from the power supply. And that is it, guys. We're completely done with the build. All that is left is to do the cabling work and neatly organize the cables. So what I'll do is I'll quickly connect them and be right back to continue the video. Alright guys, I'm back and as you can see, I'm completely done connecting all the cables and even neatly organized them. It's super easy. There are only like two main cables you'll have to check for. First one is an 8-pin cable for the CPU, while the second one is a 24-pin cable for the motherboard, while the rest are all the basic front panel IO cables like the USB, power, reset and audio. Now let's finally power it on and have a look at our PC. Whoa, not bad, right? The build actually looks decent for the price. I mean, come on guys, it's a very affordable budget category build, so we couldn't get much of RGB in it, but on the overall, I still like the look of it. It's like a complete black themed, sleek looking gaming PC. And here's the setup I'll be using for today. The peripherals are from Redgear and as usual, monitor is my old LG's 1080p IPS one. Model number and links for all these will be in the description box below. Now is the time to talk about the performance. I know you all have been like waiting eagerly for this. So let me tell you, the build is capable of doing both 900p and 1080p gaming, but right now we'll be doing all the testing and benchmarks at 1080p resolution only. I'll play some popular AAA title games at 1080p resolution with the graphics set to normal and medium and check out how this PC performs. Starting off with our favorite GTA 5.
What am I supposed to do?
So, man, I feel like I'm living in paradise. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, motherfucker. That's right, bitch. Bam.
Holy smokes, are you guys looking at that gameplay? Buttery smooth 60 FPS performance at 1080p resolution. See, this is what everyone wants on budget. On GTA 5 at 1080p resolution normal graphics, we were easily getting around 65 to 70 FPS on an average. That is actually very good considering the price. Ryzen 3400G APU with Radeon Vega 11 still rocks in 2020. The gameplay felt buttery smooth and I didn't face any sorts of lags or stutters while playing. Now this was at 1080p resolution. If you switch it down to 900p resolution, I was getting around like 80 to 85 FPS on an average, and in 720p resolution, the performance was like crazy level. We were getting an average frame rate of around like 95 to 100 FPS. Again guys, I have to mention Ryzen 5 3400G, which is a 4-core 8-thread CPU, is good not only for gaming on budget, but it's also great for your usual day-to-day office works. It can easily handle multitasking and you can even do some professional work on it like Adobe Photoshop or even your basic video editing.
I gotta get up.
Not just GTA 5, I've even played other games like Doom Eternal, which is also another popular AAA title game at 1080p resolution with the graphics set to medium. Just check out this gameplay. So at 1080p resolution with the graphics set to medium, we were getting around 45 FPS on an average. Set the graphics to low level and you can expect a solid 60 FPS frame rate. So this build is basically made for people who are looking for an all-rounder PC that can handle both their office works and also their 1080p 60 FPS gaming needs, that too on a budget. In the future, you can even maybe add a dedicated GPU to the build and greatly improve the graphic performance. Well guys, time to wrap it up. Let me quickly summarize the component prices for you. AMD's Ryzen 5 3400G costs around 13,000 rupees in India. AB350 and motherboard from Gigabyte costs 6,000 rupees. Or as suggested, you can even go for Asus TUF B450 Plus motherboard that costs around 7,500 rupees in India. Ballistic's 16GB RAM kit is available for 5,999. And coming to the power supply, well, if you have plans for upgrading your PC in the future with a dedicated GPU, then you should probably get a 550W power supply that costs around like 3,800. Otherwise, a 450W power supply is more than enough for this build. That you can get for 2,700 only. Lastly, cabinet guys, I am leaving this choice up to you. You can get any model cabinet around 1,500 to 2,000 rupees. And talking about the storage, well, get any brand 240GB SSD, that'll cost you around like 2,500 rupees. So the total budget of this build comes down to 31,700 rupees. And for that price, this is a really good all-rounder PC you can build. I hope you all enjoyed the video and got to learn a lot. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more new awesome videos. And I'll see you all in my next one.